Okay, hi everyone. We're going to get straight into it because we've got quite a bit to get through tonight. Um, Hi, welcome everybody to our virtual class for June. This is our winter warmers class. We thought it was perfect timing so the weather cools down to show you how you can use your Thermomix to make some delicious kind of hearty winter meals. So we've got a few great things to show you tonight. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin, Victoria. But thanks to the virtual world now, I sell and support my customers all over Australia, and I also have a team that is quite spread out over Australia too, which is really cool. So I'm a Thermo Loving Mum on Instagram and Facebook if you don't follow me already. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. We are going to get straight into our cooking, and we're going to throw over to Soap to start with. She is going to get us cooking with a beautiful chicken galette.
Hi guys.
And so if I just,
yeah,
there you are.
Cool. Hi guys. Super excited to be here tonight. My name's Soph, and yeah, we're going to be cooking a chicken galette for you tonight, and hopefully this will keep you nice and warm over winter. So we'll start going now. Oh, sorry. Left my butter in the freezer. So just going to follow the prompts on our beautiful Thermomix. So we're going to add our butter in. Now I've gone a little bit over, but that's all right. Who doesn't love butter? Keep following the prompts on here. So this is making the pastry that's going to go down on the bottom and on the top of our galette. Sorry, just following this here. So just going to add 200 grams. Then our chilled water, sorry. Just because it's pastry, just want to keep everything as cold as possible. Yep, I'm going to do it over. I'm going to add some salt. Sorry, can you see my screen? Okay. Is that better?
It's a bit glary, but you can just talk us through what you're doing.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's hard with the screen sometimes.
Yeah, so just adding a bit of salt here. That pastry, and then best thing ever. Gonna mix it for a bit of noise for 20 seconds.
Has anyone made the chicken galette before? Pop it in the chat box and let us know. It's so delicious, and this pastry is like buttery pastry perfection. You have to try it if you haven't. Even just use the pastry for another pie. It is amazing.
It's so good, isn't it, this pastry? So it's just telling me to put a little bit of flour on our silicone mat, on a silicone mat. I've already done a pastry here, but this is the end result. And it's really important to keep the butter cold, like we did just straight out of the freezer. Because if you don't, which I did before, it just it's really sticky and it's quite hard to maneuver, whereas that was so much easier to get out the bowl. So it just tells me here to place it on the silicone mat with a little bit of flour, and then we're just going to shape it into a bowl. So I'm just going to, So I'm just going to do that now. Just really quickly shape it into a bowl. So it's the Thermomix. So most of the work for us. Right, a little bit more flour. And then I'm just going to put that in the fridge. And then so that's pretty good. And then here's something I prepared earlier, which is the same, so same recipe, and that's our dough. So that's been in the fridge for over 20 minutes, and it's perfect. So it's going to tell me to clean and dry my bowl, but luckily I got a second bowl So I'm just going to skip that step. And I can move in straight into our next step, which is in our recipe. So I'm going to add some garlic. Now it says 1 clove, but I'm a massive fan of garlic, so I'm going to add a few more. So it's really important to remember with our cooking, with our cookie dough, it's just guided. So do whatever you like. If you like more garlic, feel free to chuck in more garlic. If you don't like it, well, skip it. That's absolutely fine.
Are we doing the bacon now, Soph, or did you redo that?
This is the bacon.
Yeah, I think so. Is that next?
I can preview. Yeah, this is like the onion bacon.
Yeah.
Am I going too fast?
No.
Not making any sense. Sorry. All right, I'm just going to turn it on a high speed for 3 seconds. I'm going to blitz it all up. So 3 seconds, and you can't really see, but 3 seconds and it's blitzed up everything, all the garlic. So good. So it's just telling me on the Thermomix here, the screen, to scrape down the sides. I'm just going to put it all back into the middle. And going to add a little bit more butter. So this is like a is going to make like a bit of like a caramelized onion bacon luscious jam type of thing that we're going to put on the base of our fillet, sorry, and it's absolutely delicious. So it's super easy, just following the prompts. So just adding some bacon, some onion. Now I'm just going to add some sugar to make it nice and caramel. Keep adding, so we're adding some balsamic vinegar. Beautiful. Sorry, just following the prompts. Still, oops. Adding some salt. Okay. And I'm just going to take my measuring cup out here and going to grab our simmering basket. So everything that will come with your Thermomix. So put it on there, and then that's going to cook nicely for us. Oh, I haven't put my bowl in. That's really good. When you haven't put your bowl in properly, it'll tell you. So that's really good. So yeah. So I think that's up to you now, Erin.
Yeah, thanks so much, Soph. Just sit out when you're ready to do your next step, and we'll come back across to you. But hi everyone, I'm going to cook up next. So I was just having a little look at Soph's skillet there, the recipe. That's why I had that one open. But I'm going to get us started making a kind of a meatball soup. This is absolutely delicious. One of the recipes from what's the recipe book called? The collection's called Creating Something Incredible. It was one of our special cookbooks released early last year, I think. Absolutely delicious, this soup. The Joe Witten Wholesome Meatball Soup, it's called. So a real kind of whole meal that I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my family don't think soup's a meal in itself. So with the meatballs and the zucchini in this one, it really gives you like a really kind of whole meal. So yeah, we'll get started. So obviously I've gone into my week and selected our recipe, and I'm just going to hit start cooking. So it's going to walk us through those first couple of steps. So all of our steps that aren't even directly Thermomix related. So we're greasing the aroma, which I've already done and set it aside. And now we've got 100 grams of almonds that we're going to pop into there. Next, a tablespoon of dried herbs, just like a mixed Italian mix. So I'm not very thorough with my tablespoons. I'll just shake a bit out into the hand. Pop it in there. Half a teaspoon of salt, much the same with my measurements there. Obviously, you can measure it out properly if that's how you like to cook. That's fine. And half a teaspoon of pepper as well. Popping the lid on now. Next again. And now we are just going to blend that up. So we've got 10 seconds and it's telling us to turn the speed selector to 10. So this is really noisy, so Zoom will mute me out for a second. So really milling down those almonds in this one. You won't keep asleep for anything. So you can see there that is that almonds, herbs and salt and pepper there. So we've milled those almonds down into like a bit of an almond mill there. And next we're going to throw in 1 egg. Has anyone made this recipe before? Pop in the chat box and let me know. Or what kind of soups do you like to make over winter? You're using your Thermomix. Obviously, we all know how easy soup is to make in our Thermomix. Throwing it all in and then blending it in the one bowl couldn't be easier. So we're doing 500 grams of beef mince in there. Next, and then we're going to pop the lid on. Next again. Oops, that's gone too fast. You can just use the back button in the left-hand corner there. Now I've got 10 seconds on speed 5 to combine that. I'm just going to give my hands a quick wash while that's doing that. So even if you weren't making this meatball soup using meatballs, something you guys are making from scratch in your Thermomix as well. Obviously, it's super easy to do. So there's our meatball mixture that quickly. Super easy to do and a lot cheaper, obviously, than buying kind of pre-made stuff from the butcher as well. And you know exactly what's in them. So our next step is to just, with damp hands, shape mixture into 3 centimetre wide meatballs and divide between the varoma dish and tray. So we just grab our varoma, sorry. And I just use tablespoons, obviously. Just do it however you like, but I just kind of make them into meatball-y shapes. My family's not too fussy when it comes to the shape of their meatballs, so I can get away with it being whatever I want it to be there. And then you would just continue with that whole bowl, obviously. I'm just going to keep going and get our soup cooking, and I'll come back to shaping all of those. But for now, I'm just going to swap bowls. I've got one spare one. Tell me who on tonight has already taken part in our $29 second bowl deal. It really, so this then says clean and dry the mixing bowl once you've done all those. But obviously with the second bowl, you can skip on past that. Or those of you who have a TM6 on here, do you have 2 bowls with it? It is such a game changer. So putting in an onion halved in there and then 2 garlic cloves. So just whole garlic cloves there. Half a red capsicum cut into pieces. You can spread it out everywhere. So just really roughly chopped there and in there. I'm going to pop the lid back on again. And now I've got 3 seconds on speed 5. Just having a quick look at the chat box as we're going. Right, and as you can see, that chopped up that capsicum, onion and garlic in a couple of seconds there perfectly for us. So now we're going to pop in 30 grams of olive oil. Just tearing these scales because I took the jug off to show you. Obviously with our TM6 we've got our built-in scales that are accurate to 1 gram. So we're just watching our scales on the side there when we're adding stuff in. It saves you know getting our extra cups, teaspoons, all those kind of things. And now we're going to place the lid back on, back with our simmering basket on top. And Next, and now I've got 3 minutes at 100 degrees and turning the speed selector to 1. So it's going to kind of saute those veggies down for us perfectly. How are you going there, Soph? Do you want to come back while we cook there?
Sorry, Erin, what did you say?
I said, how are you going? Are we going to pop back to you or not quite there?
No, not quite there yet. Sorry.
That's okay. All good. I will just keep. Sorry. Just fix my spotlights there. So I'll just keep shaking those vegetables and we'll just have a little chat while that's going. So yeah, as you guys all would know that are probably on tonight, if you're in touch with your consultant, they would have let you know that we have our $29 second bowl offer running with purchase of a TM6. It's only till Thursday this week or while stocks last. So if you are considering getting a TM6 in your kitchen, now is just the best time. This is the offer everyone works for, the offer everybody loves. And I mean, you can see there's just so many reasons why having a second parent, so I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty random too, but a second bowl in your life is such a game changer. So yeah, if you've got any questions about that, feel free to pop them in the chat box, and myself or some of the girls from our team are watching as well tonight. We can let you know, answer any of those for you, yeah, or otherwise obviously reach out to a consultant after tonight. So we've got about a minute left on that time there. So obviously, like having the second bowl here, I mean, I could have rolled the meatballs and then washed our bowl and then started the soup. But you know, it's much more efficient to use this bit of cook time to roll our meatballs and have them ready to go when we're finished that. Tell me, those of you who have a second bowl there in the chat box tonight, what is your favourite thing about having a second bowl? What do you use it for the most? I think it just saves me a lot of extra time when I can do things like this and quickly swap out. And then things like, I often start a recipe like for something like meatballs, and I never buy breadcrumbs anymore because obviously it's so easy and quick to whip them up, I should say. So I'll often start a recipe and completely forget that I don't have the breadcrumbs. So I can just switch my bowls out, make a couple of breadcrumbs with a couple of slices of bread in a few seconds, and then continue on with my recipe without having any trouble at all. I'm going to pop that to the side and wash my hands again. All right, so we're going to keep going there. So next we're going to obviously take off our simmering basket, that's what I said. And in today we're going to place about 800 grams of tomatoes cut into quarters. So I've got my tomatoes all prepped here. I did not quite have enough, so I've just added a few cherry tomatoes as well. Obviously it doesn't matter. So just add in there. As you can see already, there's so much goodness in this recipe, isn't there? Lots of fresh ingredients. So now we're going to pop the lid back on. Next, and now I've got, I need my measuring cup this time, otherwise I'm going to wear some tomatoes. 6 seconds on speed 10. And next again. And then next it's telling us to pop in 150 grams of mushrooms cut into halves. If I put mushrooms in this, my family won't eat it. I would love it, but my family won't, so I'll just come past that. Obviously it's guided cooking, it's just a guide. So if it's something you like or you don't like, you can leave it out, add extra, do whatever you like that suits you. So then we would add enough mushrooms, pop the lid back on. I should just show you those tomatoes quickly, how that chopped that 800 grams of tomatoes right up for us. Now I've got 3 seconds to 5 again. I probably could have got away with adding the mushrooms because it was that shot, but my husband's sitting here and he wouldn't eat it if he heard me putting mushrooms, even if he couldn't see them. Into there next we are going to put 100 grams of tomato paste. So again, just measuring straight into the bowl. Next, again, 100 grams of water. Next again, some chicken stock. I've just got chicken stock powder today, so that's what I'm going to use. Next, so another 2 teaspoons of those Italian dried herbs. I hope this is giving you some kind of idea about the flavour that is in this soup when it's cooked. It's just amazing. And then we are going to add a little bit of honey as well. A teaspoon of honey. A teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. And now we're going to pop the lid back on. But we're going to take the measuring cup off and pop our varoma on the top. Next again, then we're going to pop the lid on our varoma and we're going to cook it for 20 minutes, varoma temperature, reverse speed 2. And that is the main part of our soup done. We did come back and swap our meatballs for some zucchini noodles, but we'll do that later. We'll just head on over to serve quickly and then we'll come back again afterwards.
So this was the first step. Sorry, it's a bit awkward. This was the first step of the onion and bacon. And it's going to turn it, I'm going to skip the next step, which is going to put it on a high heat and then it's going to caramelize it more. But it turns out, should have pre-loosened, but it turns out to be something like this. Or it turns out exactly like this. It's a really nice gooey jam and that'll go on the bottom of our fillet. So I'm really excited to show you that. So we'll just keep skipping, sorry. So best thing, second bowl, which is on our dill right now, which Eric said. So this is going to move on to cooking our chicken to put on the top of our. So just going to add 500 grams of water. Going next. So we're going to place the varoma on the top. So just following the prompt still, so we're going to put our bit on and then our dish. Going to weigh our chicken. Our chicken on there. So 500 grams of chicken. Sorry. So I've gone a little bit over there, but that's okay. And we've got our sweet potato. So putting that on top as well. So I've got 220 grams here that I've cut into small cubes. And then we're just going to sprinkle some thyme over the top of the chicken and potato. Just pulling that on the top. And then just a little bit of extra. Sorry. This is so delicious. And you can always substitute it with something else. If you don't want chicken, you could always try pork or something like that, or probably keep it with the same poultry. We're still following the prompt, so we're going to put the lid on and turn that on. So our chicken's going to cook. Be interesting to see what other meat everyone has cooked in the Thermomix too. I'd love to know what else people have steamed in there. I think
amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Soph. How much cooking time does that have now?
10 minutes.
Perfect.
A bit under.
Just sing out when you're finished, and we'll come back to you. I'm just going to very quickly. I'm also going to make some delicious sticky dough. I hope everybody that's got a Thermomix on has made sticky dough before because it's so good. But the first step is just to cook down the dates a little bit. So I'm just going to get that cooking really quickly, and then we are going to head on over to Charlotte. So I'm going to go into my week again. That sticky dough is just the perfect winter dessert, is it not? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. Do you make it? Do you love it? Have you not made it before? Do you need to try and add it to this week? So we're going to go straight into start cooking. I've already got my oven preheating to 180 and I've got my tray sorted. So into there we're going to place 200 grams of pitted dates. I feel like sticky dough is one of the desserts that every Thermomix owner needs to make, and it's just, you will never regret it. It's so good. Popping the lid back on, and then we've got 8 seconds on speed 7. So and next again. And you can see that those dates are all chopped up in there in those 7 seconds. So turning the scales again, we're going to add in 300 grams of water. Next again, we're going to take the measuring cup off and put our simmering basket on the top for cooking as well. Next, once more. And now I've got 5 minutes, 100 degrees, and 10 minutes to be selected to lunch. So while that is cooking, we are going to head on over and see Charlotte. If I can find her. Where is Charlotte?
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Do you want me to do the risotto, Erin? Yeah.
No, I think we're pretty good for time still, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm Charlotte. I'm Home Baker Mum on Facebook and Instagram. I'm just going to make a couple of quick things tonight. I'm going to make a pizza bianca bread, like a pizza, and I'm also going to make a quick risotto as well. So I've saved these into my week. They're both cookie dough recipes. So the pizza bianca, has anyone made this one before? It's very quick if you're very time poor. Gonna go start cooking. So it says preheat oven to 220, hotter if it does go hotter. Line your baking tray. Now, this has got like a garlic and herb topping, so you can use this as a pizza base as well if you like. It says 2 garlic cloves, measure with your heart. If you like more, add more in. And then it says 3 sprigs of fresh rosemary. My rosemary tree isn't looking very healthy, so I'm just going to use some dried oregano. So you can put whatever herbs you like in. And you can just skip this part if you're just going to use it as a pizza base. That's just going to chop the garlic cloves up, and then your herbs if you had your whole herbs in there. So that was 4 seconds on speed 7. Now it just says scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl with the spatula. So that's it there. It's going to ask me to do it again, but I think that's pretty okay. I'm happy with those bits there. It's not too chunky. So I'm just going to skip next. And it's telling me to do it again. You can just skip past that. If you like the smaller pieces, you can do it again, obviously, and then transfer into a bowl and set aside. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Doesn't matter if you can't get it all out. It's just going to go through your dough anyway, and that's going to flavour it a bit more. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of olive oil in that just to infuse it a little bit. Smells delicious. That's that. Right, so there's still some in there, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Sorry, my lighting is terrible in this house. You can't see the screen very well. So we'll go next on to the next step, and we're just going to make our dough now. So it's 220 grams of water, and just make sure you tear that back to 0. Okay, 227, that's pretty good. Now it says a teaspoon of raw sugar, which is optional. I always like to add the sugar, and I've just got white sugar here. Make sure you're popping it to the sides and not directly in the middle of the blade. And then 2 teaspoons of yeast. But this one, it's kept in the fridge. All right, so 2 teaspoons of that, and the same, just pop it to the side, not directly in the middle of the blades. We're going next and insert the measuring cup into the lid, and that's just going to heat it to 37 degrees, which is an ideal temperature for it, for the yeast to activate and to let that dough rise. All right.
While
So
that's heating, Charlotte, I'm just going to continue on.
Yeah, go for it.
So that we keep going. So that time is done, and those steaks are cooked down. I won't be able to cook them out too much because otherwise I'll cook them all over the edge. But now the next step, a quick little chop, so 10 seconds on speed 4. Next, I'm going to scrape down the base with a spatula. Just making sure there's none stuck to the bottom there. And into there, we're going to place 2 teaspoons of bicarb soda. Next again, pop the lid back on. Again, 3 seconds, speed 2. Next. And now we're just going to transfer that to a bowl and set aside. We'll go back to Charlotte to keep going, and then we'll come back during the kneading.
All right, so that's it, 37 degrees in the middle there. So I'm just going to stop that. It's got 18 seconds to go. And I'm just going to go to the next step. And it's saying 400 grams of baker's flour. I did pre-measure this before. I buy the big, I think it's 12.5 kilo bulk baker's flour. We go through a lot of flour and make a lot of bread-based things. So 410, that's fine. 30 grams of olive oil. And a teaspoon of salt. So lots of basic ingredients. And then we're just going to knead that together for 2 minutes. So 1 minute, so my next is equivalent to 10 minutes in hand. So this is a very, very soft. So it's 2 minutes of kneading time.
Amazing. Thanks, Charlotte. All right, so I have put my date mixture just into the bowl there, and the next step is to thoroughly clean and dry the mixing bowl. But not only am I lucky enough to have 2 Dara mixers, but I'm also lucky enough to have 2 bowls for each. So we're just going to switch that out into a nice clean bowl. And into there we are going to put 170 grams of raw sugar. Next, we're going to put the lid back on. I made a massive mess with the sticky the date mixture. I don't know if you can see that. 10 seconds on speed 9. Then we're going to put our butterfly whisk in. See that's milled down that sugar, that raw sugar there, that beautiful sugar dust. Next, we're going to put in 60 grams of unsalted butter. So just cube butter into there. Next again, we're going to put our lid back on. And now I've got 10 seconds on speed 4. This is kind of like rubbing it, like a bit like, you know, if you have to mix to it, rub the butter and the kind of doing that for us just in those 10 seconds. So we're going to scrape down the sides of the spatula. That's really neat to do. You can see that has mixed those together. Put the lid back on again, and we've got another 10 seconds speed 4. Oh, sorry, that's a minute. I'm reading upside down and I can't read. So while that is going, we'll go back to Charlotte and she can keep us going there.
All right, so after 2 minutes, that's the dough there. So it's, yeah, it comes out pretty easily. And now it's saying to transfer to a silicone bread mat or floured work surface and divide into halves. And then work each half into a ball and then wrap loosely in the silicone bread mat and leave to proof for a minimum of 15 minutes. So if you're pretty time poor, you can just put it straight into the, get your toppings onto it if you're making a pizza, if you're making a side pizza. So here's one I made earlier. This one's probably only sat for an hour. There's that one. So it is a nice soft dough. So it's saying use your hands and press out the ball of dough onto a prepared baking tray. So I've just got one of these from the mix shop with the liners in it. So I don't need any baking paper.
Charlotte, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you mind, we might just get your risotto started and then we might do your, is that all right? To Bianca during
That's fine. So I'm basically just going to put that olive oil and garlic on the top of that and put it in the oven for 10 minutes. So I'll get my risotto happening. I'll just pull this dough out and wrap it up in this mat. So I'm just making a tomato risotto, which is, I think it's really good as a side dish, or you could even use it as a base dish as well. All right. So first up, it says 100 grams of Parmesan cheese. I've just got tasty cheese. So we're just going to grate that one up. And this will cut me out for 10 seconds. All right, so now it says transfer to a bowl and set aside, so that's it there. So I'm actually not lucky enough to have 2 bowls. So at this stage, you could just switch to your second bowl if you wanted to. I'm going to get as much of that out as I can. And now It's saying 2 cloves of garlic. Has anyone made risotto, any type of risotto in the Thermomix? 90 grams of onion, or it says shallots, but I'm just going to use a brown onion. I've just quartered that one. 40 grams of olive oil. That seems a bit excessive to me, so I always just add 20 grams in. Thereabouts. And then we're just going to chop that one up for 5 seconds on speed 5. Now scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl with a spatula. So this has it has 32 steps. And we're up to step 10. So this is, a step could be as simple as, scraping down the bowl. Don't get overwhelmed by the amount of steps there is. Place a simmering basket on the top. And then we're going to simmer that for 3 minutes. We're going to cook that off on speed 1.
Thanks. Perfect. You read my mind.
So this just says push it out with your fingers. It does grow a little bit fluffy as well. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get the rolling thing out or anything like that. Let's press it out. I think that's pretty good. And then you don't have to put the olive oil in, but I do. I think it's just adds to the flavour a bit. And just spread that around your dough. And then a little bit of salt. And then that bakes. It says 10 to 20 minutes. I reckon 10 minutes will do that one. It does make 2 of these. So you can put the other half of dough into the freezer if you like for another time and just bring it to room temperature to use. Or you can, of course, make 2 different ones. Make some pizzas for the kids, for lunch boxes, anything. So that's still got 1.5 minutes left on that one. I'll get this in the oven.
I might just come over here because my soup has just finished that step. While you're finishing that. So the meatballs are cooked now. So the next step then is to place our meatballs in our thermoserver. I will just show you before I started the cooking, I did just separate some of the meatballs onto the Varoma tray. So I was using 2 levels of that, just so there was, different spatulas going here, just so there was plenty of gaps for the steam to go through. Obviously we don't want to overload it, so that if you put too much on the bottom of your Varoma, the steam isn't going to be able to come up through those gaps and cook everything perfectly. So, just make sure that you spread it around if you can to not have to worry about that. So then we're just going to go next. So we're putting those into the thermoserver, and I've spilled something on the screen, and now it's not going to next for me. Give me 2 seconds. I'll grab a cloth. And now we are going to place, it says 2 large zucchinis cut into zoodles into the Varoma dish. I haven't done the 2 large only because we'll have this for dinner tomorrow night and I'll do them fresh because that'll be nicer. So I've just done a little bit tonight and we're just going to put those in the tray now. Just again, spread them out, make sure there's room for the steam to come through. And then next again, we're going to pop the lid back on and now I've just got 3 minutes, Varoma, speed 2 and still on with it. We'll go back to Charlotte.
Perfect timing. So that is just cooked that onion and garlic down. And now we're going to go on and add 300 grams of arborio rice. Now it says 200 grams of ripe tomatoes that are diced. I don't have 200 grams of ripe tomatoes, so I'm just going to use a can of tomatoes. It works perfectly fine. So it is another staple ingredient in our house. So I'm just going to add 200 grams. Oops, splashing it everywhere. And without the measuring cup, we're going to put that on for 3 minutes to cook, just to cook that rice a bit on reverse, on speed 1.
Thank you. All right, we will just pop over to Sophie. We are running a little bit behind tonight, guys, so please stick with us. We'll probably just go maybe 10 minutes over time, but would love you to stay on if you can.
Hey guys, so we're 8 seconds away from finishing our steaming our chicken, and I've thrown some mushrooms at the top. Obviously, if you were at Erin's house, you wouldn't be adding that step. That's just finished now. So got our steamed mushrooms, we've got steamed chicken, and our steamed sweet potato. All right, so it's just telling me to discard the water. So just in the same bowl. Again, making sure that you're tearing to 0. I'm going to add 40 grams of butter, 30 grams of flour. So this is going to make our filling. So we're going to chop up all our steamed goodies and make our filling. Bit of flour. So chicken stock. I made in the Thermomix ahead of time, which this is the best. Like Charlotte said, putting it on the side, making sure it's not all on the bowl. Plate, sorry. Then we've got some cream. The last time I made it, I didn't add cream, and I thought it was fine. So I suppose it is up to you how you like things. And then 100 grams of water. Then we're just going to put our lid on. And that is just going to thicken up for 4 minutes.
Amazing. Thanks, Sophie. We'll come back to you then to assemble it at the end. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. How are you going, Charlotte? Is that finished now?
Yeah, all finished.
Perfect.
5, 4, 3. It's still counting down. 2, 1. Yeah. So that's just cooked that rice a little bit. Now we're just going to add our liquids in. It says scrape the bottom of the bowl just to loosen any rice. And it says to add 60 grams of white wine. I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to add a 60 grams of extra water. So 500 grams of water. It says boiling water, so that probably speeds up this process as well. I'm just going to add that extra 60 grams in, which I skipped the wine. Now we're going to add a vegetable stock cube or 1 heaped teaspoon of vegetable stock paste. Has everyone made this? Normally when you do a delivery demo, your consultant will come around or do a Zoom and make that with you. It's normally the first things you make. 20 grams of tomato puree. And I'm not going to worry about the salt because the vegetable stock is quite salty. And a bit of pepper. And now that's just going to cook away for 12 minutes. on reverse speed 1, it says put the simmering basket on the top as well. And my pizza Bianca's only a few minutes away as well.
Amazing, thank you. It still blows me away how easy risotto is. And I think this tomato risotto is one of the quickest.
Definitely one of the quickest, and definitely you could use it for a base. You could add chicken, you could do it as a side dish, anything. No stirring.
All right. All right, my soup is all finished, so we'll come back and assemble that in a second. But we're just going to finish off on our sticky dough now. So the next step says to turn the speed selector to 4 and meanwhile follow the following steps. So we'll just do that. Okay. Sorry, I've gone too far backwards then. And speed selected to 4. There we go. Meanwhile, then we're going to add 2 eggs, one at a time through the hole in the mixing bowl lid until combined. So I've obviously just got my eggs in there. I'm going to add them in. And then I'll just give it a few seconds afterwards. Give it a stop there quickly because I can just see a big bit that needs to just kind of be pushed back down towards the plate so that it does combine properly. So I'm just going to grab my spatula and do that. We want it all obviously to combine properly. So pressing your speed selector at any stage will stop what you're doing. So whether you've added something in that you want to stop or for any reason at all, you think it's had enough cook time, chop time, whatever, you can just press that speed selector and it will stop for you. So I'm going to hit next then, which we've added those eggs. We're going to remove our butterfly whisk. On the side. Next again, we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Measure my vanilla much like my salt. Next again, 170 grams of self-raising flour. Next again. And then we're going to add that date mixture that we had in the bowl as well. So just adding that back in there. Once more, popping the lid back on. Next again. And now I've got 5 seconds to be on. So then we are going to scrape down the sides. So that's kind of combined all that. Again, you'll see we've got a nice batter there. So we're just going to scrape down the sides again, just pushing anything that's kind of flipped up in that mixing stage down towards the blades again. Next, once more. Oh no, we're not even mixing that time. We're just mixing down the sides and then into the mixture. So I'm just going to give that a quick stir. And then we are going to place that in. So this recipe itself actually calls for a loaf tray. You can make it in a loaf tray. I like making mine in a mini loaf tray for a few reasons. The first one is that obviously it takes far less time to cook. And the second reason is that it helps me portion out what I eat because obviously it's absolutely delicious. So you kind of want to eat the whole thing. And then the other really great thing is that you can freeze it. So you can obviously make your sticky dough like this sauce to go with it. But then you can freeze out any leftovers of these for a nice, delicious, super quick and easy dessert whenever you feel like it. So up to you. You could do it just in a normal muffin tray as well. Kind of whatever you want, really. So I'm going to whack these in the oven and then I'm going to put on my sauce and then we're going to go back to Soph to assemble her or finish off her galette and then we'll be all finished. So that'll make a good another tray of those as well. That's only about half the mixture done. So you can pop them in the oven for about, depending on the size of your muffin tin, kind of keep an eye on them. 10-15 minutes will do the trick on those. But we are just going to grab another bowl. Clean and dry the mixing bowl, or we can just, I'll just grab my cream out of the fridge really quickly. Sorry for running a bit over tonight, guys. It's so much we wanted to show you. Hopefully you are enjoying it and getting something out of it. Okay. So into there, we're going to place 250 grams of cream. A little bit over, but that's okay as well. Next, 200 grams of brown sugar. So, I mean, obviously, this dessert isn't the healthiest dessert you can make in your Thermomix by any means. But when you are looking for a delicious winter treat, you know, when you just need something a little bit special and a little bit warming, this is a perfect recipe to make. 130 grams of unsalted butter, just cut into cubes. So I'm right on the edge of your screen there. Hopefully you can see that okay. Next, another teaspoon of vanilla. Next, again, popping the lid on, and that's it for then our sauce. It'll just cook down hands-free for 5 minutes on speed 4. So we'll go back to soap and finish off there.
Cool. So the sauce has finished thickening. Delicious. So we've got a really thick, creamy base. So while we're waiting, I've just cut up the chicken into smaller bits. So they were just in like long strips. So now I'm just going to, so cut them into 2-3 centimetre bits, a bit like bite size. And then I'm just going to transfer the chicken, the mushroom, and the sweet potato all into the bowl here. Yum, smells delicious. Okay. Right, chuck our lid back on, and this is just going to blitz it up really quickly for 10 seconds. Mix it all together. While it's doing that, I did roll out our pastry that we made at the start. So it's going to tell me to set the bowl aside. That's going to cool down. So I've already got the oven preheated. So I took the dough out of the oven, dough out of the fridge. It looks really good. And I've
Sophie, are you able to tilt your camera down so we can see your dough?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just a bit of a home setup. Oh, can you see it?
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
see exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, so it looks really good. Super easy to roll out. Yeah, I don't know. I've made lots of dough by hand, and this is by far the easiest. And really good consistency, so that's great. So I've gone, about 5 millimeters thick, and then I'm just going to transfer it over to my baking dish. So flipping it up and over. Oh, sorry, the angle, you can't really see it.
That's great.
It's following through. And then we're going to spread our caramelized onion. So just putting that down on the bottom. This is the highlight for me. tastes so good.
Oh my God, it's so good, isn't it? I can't
Yes.
help. I'm usually picking at it while the chicken's cooking because it's so
I know.
delicious.
So I made a jar of this just to sit in the fridge, and I just put it on everything. It's delicious. So putting that over top, and then we're going to top with our mixture. So that little quick little mix did a really good job, and then we're just going to put that over the top. Making sure I get everything from the bowl because it's too good to waste. And and now all you want to do is, I've got a bit of a messy station here now, but I'm trying to, is that okay? So all you're going to do, okay. So I've only got one hand, so I'm not going to garnish it yet, but then you just want to fold in the pastry. I'm not making it look very pretty, sorry.
Taste on this one definitely makes up for looks, so
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, that's right.
So good.
So folding it in, and then I'm just going to brush the pastry on this side, the rim, with a bit of milk. And then put it in the oven for 25 minutes.
Amazing. That looks so good. It's it really is one of the most delicious kind of, it's like a bit of a free form pie really at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah, and there are a few different galette recipes on Cookie-Doo that you can check out. This one's hands down my favorite. It's absolutely delicious. But yeah, it's really got that beautiful buttery pastry, and the chicken and sweet potato filling is delicious with the caramelized onion and bacon too. So thanks so much for showing us tonight, Soph. So Sophie's going to bake that one now, and then you'll be able to see pictures on our social media tomorrow when that one's all finished. What's your Instagram, Facebook, Soph?
Sorry, my son was just running around. So my Instagram is thermoso. Thermo underscore.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So make sure you give Soph a follow, and thank you so much to Soph for cooking with us tonight. This is our very first virtual cooking class for our team, and we are thrilled to have you doing it with us. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We might come back to, I think, how are you going, Charlotte? Is yours finished or?
Yeah, just finished.
Perfect. We'll come back there.
So that's the risotto there, all cooked.
Yum.
And now, oops, awkward from this angle. It just says to add 40 grams of unsalted butter diced. I'm just going to chuck that in there. And that cheese that we had at the start, that we grated at the start. And then it's just to stir gently with the spatula, just to mix that through, melt that butter. That's done. That's it. Very easy.
Yum. Definitely one of the quickest and easiest risottos, I think.
Definitely.
And that is going to pair beautifully with that pizza bianca, isn't it, for dinner?
That's the pizza bianca there.
Perfect winter meal.
Yep, and I'll pop that in my thermos for tomorrow night's dinner.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Charlotte is the Home Baker Mum on Facebook and Instagram, so if you'd like to follow her as well, she would love that. Thank you again for cooking with us, Charlotte.
Thank you.
And then we'll come back and I will just finish plating up and we are all done. So both of my dishes are finished. I'm just going to move my thermomixes out of the way for a second. So obviously we have that soup, which is a couple of different components to it. So our zoodles are all done there. We've got our meatballs that are stayed nice and hot in our thermo server. So obviously our thermo server is one of our host rewards. If you've invited a couple of friends along tonight, you can grab that one as a host reward. Your consultant will help you out with that. Or you could grab the bread mats that Soph was using as well. They're another great host reward. So that is our tomato soup. So then the recipe just tells us to add a few of our, I should use the tongs. Add a few of our zoodles to our bowl. And then a couple of our meatballs. And then some of the tomato soup as well. And then you would just garnish it with some Parmesan cheese. So what do you think, guys? Does that look delicious? Is that something that you might try at home? Nice wintry meal for you there. So that is, what do we say, the wholesome meatball soup on cookie dough with the meatballs, the zoodles, and yeah, the tomato soup. And then we have our sticky cake pudding. So this is how they come out when they're in that mini loaf form. So delicious. Obviously, have one, have two, whatever you want. Have three. And then our sticky cake sauce is ready too. So that is all ready. And then obviously pour however much you like on there. So there we go. There is our sticky cake pudding, all made from scratch too. So we've got our wholesome meatball soup and our sticky cake. So that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed our Winter Warmers cooking class. Big thank you for my team for helping me out tonight. I really appreciate you guys. If there is anything that you would like to know more about, please don't hesitate to reach out to your consultant or to one of us. We would love to help you guys. And if you don't have a Thermomix but are considering taking up our amazing $29 second bowl deal, please speak to your consultant as soon as possible. Like I said before, it is only here till Thursday or while stocks last. So we definitely don't want anyone missing out on our best deal. So yeah, make sure you get in touch with your consultant or reach out to whoever invited you along tonight. So thank you again, and we will see you next month for our next cooking class. Thanks so much, everybody.